Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey,
What's up, guys?
and the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What up, Dal?
And I am your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. And hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone has had a pleasant Tuesday. It is Tuesday, isn't it?
It is Tuesday. Yes.
Days tend to blend together lately. How are you guys doing? How are you, Satsu?
Pretty good. Got out of the house today, and nothing bad happened. So there you go. Good day.
And you, Monkey?
I'm just tired, man. I got up so late yesterday. I ended up staying up all night, and I decided about 5 it'd be a good time for a nap, similar to what Satsu accidentally did yesterday. And let me tell you, waking up was not easy. Lady Monkey had to come in and yell at me like 3 times.
Uh-oh.
With an alarm going.
She had to mommy you?
I kept hitting the snooze on the alarm. But other than that, it's been an okay day. How you been, Scribe?
Thankfully, the temperature has, I will say, reduced noticeably. I'm not going to say is like dropped into comfortable territory, but as compared to the last like 4 or 5 days, it was practically just nice, except for the fact that while it might have been a lower temperature, it was way more humid. So one part of discomfort was replaced with another. But at least now, as we approach the evening over here, it's not entirely a sauna. So I'll take that for what it's worth. Maybe I'll actually be able to sleep tonight. I don't know. We'll find out. But anyway, other than that, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones movies, hit that like button if you have not already. And let's see, at least 3/4 of you have not, so far as I can tell.
We got 2 dislikes already. Cool.
I know, right? And please share our stuff. I'm going to assume those dislikes are overflow from last night.
That'll say
my ego.
The few of our guests that have like broken hands or wrists or whatever, they just it's a thumbs up. It's just a broken wrist thumbs up. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, and I also, just as a note to Monkey, since he's been out of it all day, I put up an advertisement for his new program on the History Channel.
I saw that earlier today.
I'm not going to drag that out much longer. I was sitting at work today, and it's kind of like, I thought that was funny. I was looking through stuff, and for whatever, I forget what it was, but I came across that photo of Muhammad Ali, and it was at Sonny Liston, and I just thought, oh, that's too perfect. And so, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you'll just have to follow me on Twitter and take a look at my timeline to see what I'm talking about. Otherwise, do we have anything else to cover, mention, or plug before we get into the schnuzz?
I honestly don't know.
Satsu, are you cognizant of the world today?
Oh, I'm waking up here.
Okay. Well, I mean, prior to 5 minutes ago, I mean.
I have nothing to add. I'm talking right now just to hear my own voice.
You are a narcissist. You know that?
I am, but I have a very sexy voice. Even when it's tired, I mean, it's still kind of like, how you doing?
Well, I know I've got a chubby.
See?
Monkey, why don't you make your side hustle like a phone sex operator?
Yeah, there you go.
Because I can't do that.
You can't.
No. Okay, forget the phone sex thing. What you want to do is just do ASMR and like read out of the dictionary and then cross post those videos to both YouTube and Pornhub. And
I can do that.
Yeah, that'd be easy.
The idea of talking dirty to somebody live though is weird to me unless I'm actually doing the dirty stuff at the time.
Ooh, here's an idea. So what you do is you pull up a photo of like the sexiest midget you can find at that moment. And you just start recording yourself saying all the things to that picture that you would say to the sexy midget in real life, and then take that audio and then just turn it over into a video.
I think it would be funny to like stand on a couch or something naked with a midget that you're about to bang and dangle your wiener and make her jump for it.
Oh my God. Monkey, do you think
Yeah.
if you decided to become a phone sex operator and was bringing in bank, Lady Monkey would be like, all right.
So she'd be fine with it if I wasn't calling somebody, like down the street, or somebody paying me to talk dirty to them. I think she'd be cool with it. It would be if it was the woman at the gas station getting my number and be like, talk dirty to me. I think that she'd have a problem with.
Squishy, would you be mad if I was a phone sex operator?
Yes.
I think Squish would be fine as long as Asian women didn't call you.
You'd be like, no Asians. Everybody else can go.
No Asian phone sex line.
All right. Well, with that racist notion.
Wait. It's not racist because Squishy.
Oh, yes.
Satsu, like many of us, likes Asian women, and Squishy's fine with him liking anybody but Asian women because she knows those are his favorite.
Second to Squishy.
Second to Squishy.
Yeah, make sure you say that real quick before that gets on like the permanent record or nothing that you didn't respond. Okay, moving on. So, as the title of the stream says, if the reports are true, there has been a goddamn miracle in Mexico. No deaths reported in Mexican airliner accident.
Holy shit.
No deaths have been reported. And I want to stress, as of right now, I don't know if this is going to change or if this is like somebody jumping the gun or something, but as of right now, no deaths have been reported in an accident involving an Aeromexico plane Tuesday in Durango, Mexico. 97 passengers and 4 crew were on board the Embraer? I don't know what that is. 190 aircraft, said Mexico Transportation Minister Gerardo Ruiz Esparza. Aeromexico said Flight 2431 was scheduled to fly from Durango to Mexico City. The accident happened close to Guadalupe Victoria International Airport, which is now closed. Let's see. They don't say quite what the accident was. Quote, we deeply regret this accident and the families of all those affected are in our thoughts. We're focused on dealing with the situation and doing everything necessary to assist the families of our passengers and crew during this difficult time, the airline said. So maybe more information is oncoming, but anyway, there's 101 people on this plane, crew and passengers included. And as of right now, no deaths reported. And that hasn't changed in the last hour and a half. So fingers crossed that it doesn't. But if that is all true, because the pictures, you just see this smoking wreck. And if no one died in that, it's a goddamn miracle. I'm just saying.
That's interesting. Well, cool.
Yeah,
I'm happy for people that, usually it's like everyone died. Yeah.
I mean, you can see from the pictures that they have available, you can kind of see the plane. You can see the entire shape of the plane. Like you can see the fuselage, you can see the tail. It all looks like it's still effectively in one general piece, but it's all cracked and on fire and shit. So yeah, if somehow everybody made it out of there alive, excellent. But let's see. Skeptalk says 85 injured, still no deaths reported. Okay, well, injuries over deaths, I'll take those.
That's amazing for a plane crash.
Yeah, so I don't know the details. We don't know what the accident was yet. It doesn't say there was a collision with another plane. Maybe it was mechanical. Maybe it was pilot error. I don't know. But if it was pilot error, somebody was on their side and landing that thing. So,
yeah, good for them.
Anyway, not much more to say about it. There's still information coming in. I'll refresh it as the night goes on in case something changes. But I just wanted to start off with that because it's not often that we get to start with some demonstrably, undeniably good news for the day. Moving on to something we talked about last night. 3D Gun Plans website suspends downloads after court ruling. Federal Judge Robert Lasnik issued a temporary restraining order on Tuesday, quote, blocking the federal government from allowing distribution of downloadable 3D printed guns, according to a tweet from the Washington State Office of the Attorney General. Quote, the judge's...
That is not how the law works.
Well, it's a temporary, so we'll see what happens. Quote, the judge's rule is clear, Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson said at a news conference. Quote, we go back to the status quo before the federal government made the disastrous decision to undo these protections for public safety. The ruling blocked a settlement that Defense Distributed, a Texas-based gun rights organization, and the federal government reached in June that made it legal to post 3D printable gun plans online. Defense Distributed founder Cody Wilson said the site has disabled downloads until he reviews the order. The settlement ended a multi-year legal battle that started when Wilson posted designs for a 3D printed handgun he called the Liberator in 2013. The single-shot pistol was made almost entirely out of ABS plastic, the same material Lego bricks are made from, and could be made on a 3D printer. Wilson sued the federal government in 2015. According to spokeswoman Brianna Aho, the judge's ruling does not order Defense Distribution to take the plans for the guns off their website, but keeping them up is again illegal. That's kind of the same thing. Quote, the effect is restoring the status quo before the government took action, but the judge hasn't technically ruled on the lawfulness of the government action yet. Okay. Ferguson announced Monday he was leading the lawsuit, which originally involved 8 states and the District of Columbia. The petition for the temporary restraining order was filed in federal court in Seattle. Iowa and Virginia joined the case on Tuesday. So that's that. Thank you, Three-Sided Coin. I got him. If anyone wants him, message me. I don't know to the legality of that right now, so just saying, he rolls your dice right now, he takes your chances. Because I don't know what I couldn't possibly imagine how to navigate the legal minefield that they've just created. So,
yeesh.
Anyway,
I don't know what to even to say about this.
Well, there's a supplementary article to this. White House supports existing law, says 3D guns are already illegal. Okay. The Trump administration supports an existing law they say makes it illegal to own or make homemade plastic guns, a White House official said Tuesday, coming hours after President Donald Trump tweeted that the availability of the firearms, quote, doesn't seem to make much sense, unquote. Quote, the president is committed to the safety and security of all American. I'm reading it as it's written. All American. There's only one American. It's probably Donald Trump. He considers this his highest responsibility, Deputy Press Secretary Hogan Gidley said to reporters aboard Air Force One. Oh, he said this out loud. Oh, so it was a mental typo. Okay. Quote, in the United States, it's currently illegal to own or make a wholly plastic gun of any kind, including those made on a 3D printer. Thank you, Snubber 13. Didn't these bitches watch the Clint Eastwood and John Malkovich movie? They've been making plastic guns for years. Yes, In the Line of Fire, by the way. Now that's one that I think we should do a movies you should have watched at some point. That movie's great. I mean, it is Clint Eastwood. It is relatively mainstream, but nobody really talks about it anymore. And I love that movie. That was the first time I ever think I really saw John Malkovich. I know he'd done stuff long before then, but I was so enthralled by his performance in that because he's such a great, crazy villain in that thing. And Renee Russo, back when she was young and totally hot. But yeah, I had been thinking about that movie the other day. I forgot to mention it because that was the first time I ever remember a plastic gun being a major plot point in, well, anything. And it was a really big deal at that time because it was like, oh, this is so ingenious the way he's doing it that nobody thought of it before or something. Excuse me, I was taking a drink of my not Sprite drink or whatever. And by the way, guys, I did have a pepper jack before the stream started. So, the Dr. Pepper funds are going to good use, I suppose. Yeah, so we got conflicting things going on. The federal government says it's okay, it's constitutional. Federal judge puts a temporary block on it, and the White House seems to agree with the judge in spirit, I guess. I don't know. This is all very confusing to me.
Huh.
Okay. And the other big news today, I suppose, if you want to call it news, the Manafort trial began. because Paul Manafort is super important. Thank you, Joel McLaughlin. Someone needs to tell the judge. Someone needs to tell the judge is already too late. It's been on the net for an eternity. In net time, fear mongering at best. Yeah, I mean, it's out there. It's one of those things where it's kind of like, you can't put the genie back in the bottle, really. Unless, of course, like I say, this goes through the process and somehow it becomes literally illegal to possess these files on your computer, like, classified information or child porn or something. So.
Oh, you mean like downloadable music also?
Well, yeah. I mean, if they turn downloading gun plans into like Napster, then we're all, that's pretty much the end of the story right there.
Well, I mean, I don't. There's no way out of this. Like they can't do anything about this.
Not really.
I just can't believe people are freaking out over a one-shot gun. I get it. It's scary. A bad guy can print a gun that'll fire one bullet at a time. Yeah, that's horrible. Alyssa Milano with her. You can just print an AR-15. It's not how it works.
I could see
dumb bitch.
I could see a concern when it comes to like airport security and things like that. Here, there, or otherwise. I mean, it didn't take a one-shot gun to take over a plane for a 9/11. It took a box cutter. So,
yeah.
And I'm not saying that is a likely scenario. I'm just saying that it's not that far a stretch of the imagination to imagine a scenario where that kind of thing could happen. And that's not an illegitimate concern. But then plastic guns or the ability to make such, you could have done that. I mean, and we saw in that movie from the 90s, for God's sakes, you could have done that in so many different ways prior to this, regardless of 3D printing. So,
Yeah, but see, this is not an entirely undetectable gun. Reading it, the firing pin is still metal because you kind of need that. Then there's also some piece. It didn't say what in the article I was reading, but there's some piece that keeps it complying with the Detectable Firearm Act or some shit like that. So it's not just the movie that In the Line of Fire that Snub mentioned. That is Hollywood fiction, guys. This still isn't going to pass a metal detector.
Yeah. So anyway, Manafort. And of course, every time they bring him up, it's former campaign chairman Paul Manafort, even though everything he's charged with has absolutely nothing to do with his time in the Trump campaign. So yeah, the first day of testimony happened, and here's the rundown for those that might be interested. The first day of Paul Manafort's trial has just wrapped up. It ended with testimony from Tad Devine, who was questioned by prosecutors and Manafort's defense attorneys. Devine, the Democratic political consultant who worked with Manafort in Ukraine, testified extensively on how much work Manafort did in Ukraine alongside Rick Gates and his associate Konstantin Kilimnik. He spoke about an effort for Manafort to work with other Ukrainian politicians as recently as 2014. Is 2014 recent now? Anyway, Paul worked harder than anybody, Devine testified. There were emails through the night going on. Prosecutors working for special counsel Robert Mueller questioned Devine for about an hour. Manafort's lawyers quizzed Devine about the role of Gates, whose upcoming testimony against Manafort is expected to play a key role in the prosecutor's case. Devine said Gates, quote, did a lot of the day-to-day stuff, like arranging travel, while Manafort led the campaign strategy in Ukraine. There's a lot of like live blogging stuff on this thing. Apparently, there's some notion going around that Manafort is going to lay all the blame for anything that was criminal on this Rick Gates guy. I don't care about any of this. This is so unrelated to anything relevant to what the media is trying to make it out to be. Like Manafort was a corrupt.
Excuse me.
Hello.
I'm sorry. I'm done.
Okay. Manafort was a corrupt individual before he joined Trump's campaign. Okay, fine. Did he do anything during Trump's campaign that was either corrupt and or illegal? If the answer is no, who gives a shit? This is
Well, this is the problem with the special counsel law, and we've discussed this before. He can go after any criminal behavior, which is fine. If Manafort was doing criminal shit before he was in the Trump campaign, by all means, prosecute him.
Mm-hmm.
But stop throwing in that caveat, Trump campaign manager, because it had nothing to fucking do with it. And you know it didn't. You're just poisoning the goddamn well. You're throwing out information that has nothing to do with anything.
Well,
it literally has nothing to do with what's being looked at.
It's only done in an effort to keep it relevant to stuff it doesn't belong with. You know, as long as he has that connection to Trump. I mean, if Trump's former hairdresser on The Apprentice suddenly got pulled over for drunk driving, that would be a big deal just because he has some tangential connection to Trump. The end. It's like, okay.
But see, they know what they're doing here because they know it has nothing to do with the campaign, but they still put that there every time, every fucking time. And there was even when these charges first came down, oh, Manafort's going to turn on Trump. For what?
Yeah.
Anyhow.
No one has shown yet that there was something he was going to roll on Trump for in this. Like, if you roll on Trump for something we assume must be going on, then we won't prosecute you as badly in this case or something. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, it's like they keep trying to retroactively justify this investigation with things that are completely unrelated, and it's really kind of frustrating.
Just theoretically, let's say Manafort did something bad when he worked for Trump, right?
Okay, sure.
And they cut a deal with him on this old stuff
to
get this stuff.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they technically be colluding with the people who colluded with the Russians?
In the pursuit of justice, it's okay.
Okay, all right.
I mean, well, and I don't mean that really facetiously, because how often have three guys commit a crime, one guy out of the three actually murdered somebody, two other guys roll on him for a better deal and testify to get the actual murderer put away. We make deals with people that, by all rights, you wouldn't want to give a break to all the time. That doesn't. It would neither surprise me nor shock me all that much. Is it a shock to the conscience? It depends on the crime, but that's par for the course. So that doesn't that wouldn't surprise me at all.
If you want to see how bad that can go, guys, look up Sammy the Bull Gravano.
Oh God, yeah, talk about that guy getting off.
A motherfucker he had full immunity, so he just laid out everything.
Yeah, I've seen some crazy examples of that before. But anyway, Minding Freedom's in the chat. Hello.
Hey, Minding, how you doing,
Minding, bud? Long time no see, or at least as far as I recall.
People keep asking me about you. What happened to you? So there he is, guys.
Yeah. And hi, Irate Bear. Irate Bear's in the chat as well. Let's see. Those are all the stories that I pulled up. Not a whole lot happened today in the grand scheme of things, I suppose. There's a whole bunch of little stories, but I'm sure that our audience correspondents with MSS News have taken up the slack there. But do you guys have or know of anything today?
I do. Well, I have a story that we're going to read for fucketry time, I believe.
Sure.
But nothing newsworthy at the moment.
Okay. Yeah. Satsu?
Same deal.
All righty, guys. Then we're going to move on to MSS News. If you guys have news stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but if we don't, it's Satsu's fault. I don't know why, but it's turnabout's fair play. What can I tell you?
I can't stop sneezing.
Wow.
This sucks.
What?
I keep sneezing.
What are you allergic to?
Stupid.
Bullshit.
That's what I'm.
Oh.
We've hit a lot of it so far.
Okay. Whoa! What the fuck is going on?
What
was my phone ringing.
Yeah. Oh, so you do have a ringer.
Well, y'all was bitching at me about turning it on, so I did, and now it's interrupting the strike.
Okay. Thank you, Cryptic. I want to see someone fire a plastic gun with a plastic bolt and firing pin. I guarantee you a hand will be missing. I am not a material scientist, so I don't know if there's something you could use other than metal to make an effective reusable firing pin. So I would think some kind of like carbon fiber thing or something could probably get you more than one shot before it broke. But I don't, like I say, I only watch things on like Discovery Channel, so I don't know what the actual reality is. Let's see. Oh, this is great. This one comes from Subcon Jazz, a Canadian story because Canada. Ottawa animator sent to prison on child porn charges.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh boy. An Ottawa artist who helped animate children's TV shows has been sentenced to 28 months in prison for possessing more than 60,000 images of child pornography and sharing them online. Only 28 months? Wow. Tom Weissum, 55, has worked on TV productions such as My Little Pony Friendship is Magic and Littlest Pet Shop, according to the Internet Movie Database. Weissum was sentenced earlier this month after pleading guilty to the charges in December, 2 months after police executed a search warrant at his home in Old Ottawa South. Police found 60,165 pictures, many of them duplicates, along with 1,626 videos, some of which depicted adults engaging in sexual behaviors with children. In some of the images, young girls had their hands and feet bound. I'm about to get sick. Thank you, Three-Sided Coin. Saturday, Cryptic. 22 short will be using a glove. Oh, okay.
I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I know that yesterday he told us they were going to be firing 3D printed guns this Saturday.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Court heard that Weissum was born and raised in Wales, where he worked as a postal clerk. He came to Canada in 1992 and hitchhiked and camped his way across the country, doing God knows what, before becoming a permanent resident in 1996. He has studied fine art and commercial animation and once had his work featured at Ottawa's Cube Gallery. The court doctor told the court that Weissum was a low risk to reoffend or have sexual contact with children. Is that a chance I'd want to take? Probably not. Thank you, Snubber 13. My relative looked at CP. He got child porn. He got 10 years. Canada's fucked. Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that it's that relatively light, but Canada is different than America, as I'm sure many of our Canadian viewers can testify.
Have you seen the push to make that not illegal?
I have not, but I'm not surprised given, the things we've seen in the last couple of years.
Yeah, their argument is, well, those pictures have already been taken. Yeah, they don't encourage people to take more.
It creates a market. It creates a market for more.
Yeah.
No.
I am fine with the harsh penalties on that.
Yeah.
Well, here in the States. In Canada, apparently, it's not that big of a deal.
Not
that you actually did it. It's just funny.
This one comes from Massive Dynamics. North Carolina man, not Florida man, mind you, shoves $100 worth of Walmart steaks down his pants and flees on a moped.
Man, you can run down a moped. You got to get something. At least get like a pedal bike so you can go faster.
A man in Nashville, North Carolina, was nabbed by authorities on Monday after he allegedly shoved $100 worth of stolen Walmart steaks down his pants. Are Walmart steaks any good?
Depends on which cut you get, like anywhere. Their meat's actually good. You want to stay away from their produce.
Okay. Well, this guy must have like an iron deficiency or something that he needed to do something that drastic. The alleged thief, identified as Keith Jordan, tried to make a getaway on his moped, quote, in the pouring down rain after walking out of the Walmart without paying for the steaks. A photo shared by the sheriff's office, which added that, quote, neither snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night prevented them from apprehending the accused thief, shows at least 10 packages of stolen steaks.
Nice.
There you go. Oh, God. He was going to do a stakeout.
But still. There's one I want to read real fast.
Sure.
This one comes from Massive Dynamics. Mom spared jail for taking 13-year-old's virginity on the kitchen floor.
What?
A young woman who took a 13-year-old boy's virginity on the kitchen floor of her home has been spared jail. Jordan Lightfoot was 19 when she had sex with the schoolboy in 2016. The now 21-year-old pleaded not guilty to sexual activity with the boy and also to sexually touching a boy of 15 and inciting him to engage in sexual activity, but was convicted earlier this month. The offenses came to light when the 13-year-old boy's mother found text messages on his mobile phone. Mold Crown Court heard. This was over in the UK, y'all. The rest of the world is just weird today. Joe Maxwell prosecuting said text messages between Lightfoot and the 13-year-old made it obvious she was in control of the relationship. It doesn't matter. He's 13. Even Jesus Christ. Simon Killeen, defending, said the offenses happened in a short period of time when she was an immature teenager. Bitch was 19.
Yeah. Well, it's still a teenager.
Yesterday, after considering a pre-sentence report, Judge David Hale imposed a 18-month jail sentence, suspended for 2 years with 50 days of rehabilitation activity. How do you rehabilitate somebody not to fuck a child?
Rehabilitation activity. Is it like playing chess in a quiet room or something?
Jesus Christ. Do you have any doubt that if that was a man who banged a 13-year-old girl on the kitchen floor and her mom found text messages, that motherfucker would have went to jail?
Very little doubt. Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Okay, some cinematic shenanigans here. This one comes from All You Need. If this is true, this is funny. Most expensive Chinese film ever pulled from cinemas after it bombs.
Oh.
The massively hyped Chinese fantasy epic Asura has been pulled from cinemas after a disastrous opening weekend. With a production budget reported at 750 million yen, or won, or yuan, or however you say that, which is 85 million pounds. Really? That's the most expensive Chinese movie ever made? I don't know what the conversion of pounds to dollars is. So, Asura, with its complex special effects, big name stars, and huge crew, was hailed as China's most expensive film ever made. However, its opening weekend takings totaled 5.5 million pounds, and it was immediately withdrawn from cinemas. That's not how you recoup your money, guys. Okay, the film's official. Sorry?
As long as you take it out of the theater, you get all that money back, don't you?
Yeah, that's how that works. The film's official Weibo account?
Yeah.
What? Thank you, Sanguine. How are you an alleged thief when you are packing $100 of stolen beef in your pants? Males have hyper agency and females have hypo agency. Monkey, duh. You're still alleged until you're convicted.
Weibo is basically their Twitter.
I know. It's just WEIBO, and we've made that joke about Weibo before, but I just thought I'd say that. The film's official Weibo account announced the news on Sunday, with producers offering, quote, deepest apologies to viewers who did not get a chance to watch the film, as well as to all the Chinese and international participants who were involved in its production over the past 6 years. Yeah, well, some of those are the investors who are probably trying to find you for taking your heads for taking their investment off the market like that. Because it will recoup nothing. Thank you, Sanguine. Yuan. Okay, yuan. Not yen, not yuan. Yuan. I don't know these things. I'm a dumb Yankee. In an article published before the film's released, Yang Hongtao, chairman of Ningxia Film Group and one of the film's major backers, expressed confidence in Asura, saying, quote, it's a very imaginative movie. We wanted the film to raise confidence in our own culture and train more domestic talent. The film appeared to have won the publicity battle, with reports saying Asura had generated around 390 million mentions on Weibo. However, audiences failed to respond, with a low 3.1 out of 10 rating on Chinese review site Douban, and a resounding box office defeat by the 1930s set swordsman drama Hidden Man. I can't imagine any studio pulling their movie out upon it being a bomb. I mean, it wouldn't last long. I know. It wouldn't last long, but they wouldn't pull it out. Thank you, Gregory. So China has DC movies too? Pretty much. You know, whenever they're not denying screenings of films from America because they have supernatural elements in them or something.
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, now that it's been pulled from cinemas, it'll probably gain a larger following just because it's now strangely taboo to see it, to see the Chinese biggest bomb ever. This one comes from Stunlock Joe, and I think it's probably for Monkey. Kind of goes back to something we talked about last night tangentially. Alyssa Milano opens up about the insatiable fat-shaming controversy. Oh, God. The actress and activist calls the new Netflix series a, quote, conversation instigator. Aha. Thank you, Cryptic. Weibo gives all their data to the commies. Don't ever use that, and don't ever buy a Huawei phone. It's banned on U.S. bases and facilities. Okay. Oh, probably because it's spy material. When the first trailer for Netflix's new series Insatiable dropped in mid-July, I still haven't seen it, critics accused the dark comedy created by Dexter alum Lauren Gussis of fat-shaming. Per the trailer, Patty, Debbie Ryan, endures constant bullying because of her weight, only to seemingly gain revenge against her tormentors following a significant amount of weight loss. Over 200,000 people have signed a Change.org petition calling for the show, quote, to be canceled, and countless others have taken to social media to decry it as well. At the same time, Ryan and co-star Alyssa Milano, who plays the would-be socialite Coralie, have also been defending Insatiable online and in the press. A week after the initial backlash, Metro spoke with Alyssa Milano about the outcry on social media and, given a few more days of reflection, whether her thoughts on the matter had changed. I'm not going to read too much of this, but I'll read a little bit. Quote, my initial reaction was, I never wanted to cause anybody any pain. And if the trailer did that to people, that was very hard for me, Alyssa Milano explains. But the more I sat with it and really understood what was happening, the more I realized the reaction was a good indicator for how much shame hurts us. This is the place we're at right now in society when it comes to shaming. This goes across the board. I think shame and shaming people about it is a big part of this, especially on social media, where it becomes very easy to have backlash in any capacity. Okay. Milano strives to make clear how sympathetic she is to the complaints triggered by the trailer here, but she also emphasizes that it does not encapsulate or characterize the entire series. Quote, this show is about not judging someone or something upon first glance, and yet here was a minute and 40 seconds pulled from 12 hours of television that people were judging upon first glance, she says. I haven't read every Twitter post or anything that Alyssa Milano's ever put up, but would I be wrong in guessing that maybe there's some principled hypocrisy here somewhere?
Doubt it. Nothing that immediately springs to mind.
Okay.
But for me, the whole thing, just how bad shaming is for our society.
I just wonder what she would say to someone wearing a Make America Great Again hat, or what she would think of them just by looking at them.
Oh, sure, yeah. There's definitely that. I haven't seen her go after supporters of Trump the way that a lot of people do. I'm not saying she hasn't, guys. It's just something I haven't seen. Yeah. She does tend to keep her criticism aimed at the politician she's mad at, or the proposal she's mad at, rather than anybody supporting it, from what I've seen.
That's legit.
Again, that's not to say she hasn't, guys, just from what I've seen. This movie is, I'm going to have to sit down and watch it, and I really don't give a fuck about it.
Oh, Insatiable? It's a series. It's not a movie.
Oh, okay, show.
Yeah, it's 12 hours, Monkey. It's like 12
hours of, oh my God, I used to be fat and people made fun of me for it.
Yeah, now I'm going to get revenge by not being fat anymore.
It's probably going to be about on par with everything else that has already done that. So,
well, that's from what I've seen of this, the actors involved are absolutely right. This is not a pro fat shaming thing. That's the bad side of it.
All right, those are the villains are the ones that do that in the show, so far as I can tell.
Yeah. And
Cryptic, thank you. I've seen it on Twitter. Okay,
that's fair. Like I said, I haven't seen everything she's tweeted. So
that's what I was asking.
But we got to the point now where you can't even shame fat shamers.
Yeah.
That's fucking retarded.
Yeah, the
I mean,
crime.
oh my god.
Calling out the crime is the crime now, or something, I guess.
Well,
That would be like
let's
saying
talk
that a
about
movie against racism shouldn't be made because, racism.
Oh, can you imagine if Mississippi Burning came out
That's
today?
the one. People, we can't show that. It has people that don't like black people in it. Like, you missed the message of the movie, jackass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one comes from Froggy, and we'll just do a couple more before we get to YouTube time. Spokesman. Oh, wait, there's going to be a video playing in my ear and deafening me. Spokesman for GOP Senate nominee called majority black cities shitholes. Well, that's not a good look. Quote, you can run your gang-infested shithole without our tourist dollars and soon our tax dollars, he said last year of New Orleans. Ooh. A spokesman for Corey Stewart, Virginia's Donald Trump-allied Republican nominee for U.S. Senate, has revealed to have referred to several U.S. cities with majority black populations as shitholes and has warned against opening business in black neighborhoods. Rick Shafton uses the term to describe Memphis, New Orleans, and Baltimore in a series of now-deleted tweets. He further threatened to boycott New Orleans last year for its removal of Confederate monuments, saying that, quote, you can run your gang-infested... Yeah, okay, we were talking about... After the killings of African Americans by white police officers in both Ferguson, Missouri, and Baltimore, Shafton also cautioned against business activity in areas with large black populations. Quote, after hashtag Ferguson, only a fool would start, finance, or insure a business in a black neighborhood, he tweeted in 2014. The message out of Ferguson and Baltimore is a simple one. Don't open a business in a black neighborhood, exclamation point. Stewart's spokesman, Noel Frisch, deflected away from Shafton's tweets. Quote, far-left liberals and weak Republicans play the race card to shut down all debate, and meanwhile we can't even have a conversation about how to improve the economy for blacks who, as a direct result of decades of failed federal government programs, haven't seen economic growth in the last 50 years, he told HuffPost. That's deflecting. Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, I would not build a business in a black neighborhood.
Satsu, you're racist.
Now, I lived in one long enough to know exactly what happens to them, and I've lived there long enough to see them pop up and see some wide-eyed idiot come in like, oh, this is going to be great, and we're going to make a lot of money, and this is going to be awesome, and then it gets vandalized or robbed or some shit like that, and then they leave. It happens every time without fail. There's no small businesses that survive very long unless they have either Asian or Arab owners.
I just want to point out that Jordan's typed something before I could say it. He said, so he called the cities shitholes, but they also happen to be black majority, or did he say black majority cities are shitholes? That's the thing. He pointed to 3 specific cities, and is anybody really going to argue Baltimore's not a fucking shithole?
Well, here's the thing. It's the same thing with the stereotypes that I said, and this is one of my biggest issues that I have with my people, I guess, is they love stereotypes when they joking about it, when they talking about it, when it's in their music and on all of the media that they put out, and literally everything that they put forth. It's great. It's hilarious. It's awesome. Black people being black people. We love it. But the moment somebody's like, that's a thing that black people do, then they're like, no, the fuck it isn't. How could you say that? How dare you try to stick that stereotype on us and say that all black people are like this? And it's like, well, no, I didn't say all black people are like this. I just said that shit black people like. We don't like that. How could you say that? And then they go back and go and indulge in all that shit like they didn't just have that conversation. Just like you hear black people all the time talk about how shitty their neighborhoods is. This neighborhood is shitty. I'm trying to get out the hood. That's all you hear. It's this shitty ass neighborhood. I'm trying to move out of here, get out of this place. This place is dangerous. Lock my doors, and niggas ain't shit. You hear all day. That's what you hear. The moment that shit pops up on the news and they like what they said, they're like, how dare you? All the fucking time. I've been hearing it my whole fucking life.
Thank you, Sanguine. Well, they're like 80% shitholes, just shitholes with good food and some nice spots. Yeah, New Orleans, man, the food there is great. And thank you, Nick's opinion. I know you used to have a different name, so I see that avatar and my brain goes to a different thing. Or formerly Crazy Opinion. Well, in LA, a lot of the black neighborhoods are shitholes. I don't want to live in one.
Louisiana, I believe, is what he said.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, Louisiana.
There's a great point about the insurance thing that he made there, though. When I watched them fucking destroy Ferguson after the verdict there, that was they kept talking about, what was it? Was it a Rite Aid or a CVS? I forget. There was a pharmacy
CVS.
there.
I think it was CVS, yeah.
The only pharmacy in the whole place. And like, yeah, and you guys just fucking burned it to the ground. And yeah, I get you're mad, but an insurance agent, the person that you have to have insurance to open a business, they're not going to take that liability on.
Yeah.
Because they're going to lose their money.
Yeah.
And this would be the same. It's not about Black City. It's about how that city is being run and what's happening there.
Yeah.
I mean, they might back it, but the rates are going to be astronomical for them to even take the chance on it, because it's like, it's got nothing to do with race. It's got to do with the risk you're going to take in that area to either back a business or the cost benefit of opening a business. If some place is prone to, I mean, even if it only happens like once every 10 years, if a business takes a risk that somebody's going to just burn down their business because something goes wrong in a community that's got a history of having things go wrong, they're going to take their business somewhere else that's safer, just on a track record. Because if somebody opens up a business, 9 times out of 10, they're not opening it up just for like a 2-year run. They're hoping for a long-term investment. So,
yeah, what was the damage cost to Ferguson? Does anybody remember?
Oh God, I couldn't tell you. Several
millions of dollars.
Yeah, at least something like that. I'm sure we can find that out real quick. Let me do one more before we get to YouTube time, because this one.
Wait, this is not us endorsing that candidate. We're just saying that story is a bit.
No, yeah, that story. This one comes from Griffin. Ready, aim, hire a Fortnite coach. Parents enlist video game tutors for their children.
For Fortnite?
Allie Hicks fretted over her 10-year-old son playing the hugely popular shoot-'em-up game Fortnite. It wasn't the violence or the amount of time she was worried about. It was the result. He wasn't winning. So she hired him a coach. For about $50, Miss Hicks purchased 4 hours of online lessons from a player she found through a freelance labor website.
Jesus.
Hey, nice work if you can get it. I don't know what to tell you. Somebody's willing to pay you for it.
I don't see a problem with that at all.
No, it's ridiculous, but hey, capitalism, yay. For many, sorry?
This isn't new. There was an article in PC Gamer, God, maybe a decade ago, about people doing this with like Counter-Strike.
Sure.
But man, for Fortnite, dude, I played Fortnite solo mode 4 times, and I ranked 19, 54. That was a bad one. There's 100 people, by the way. 19, 54, 24, and 4. It is ridiculously easy to play that game.
Well, you're also not a 10-year-old.
At 10, I had much better skills than I do now.
Oh, okay. For many children, Fortnite has become a social proving ground. More than 125 million people play it worldwide, according to its maker, mostly in a free mode, pitting 100 combatants against each other until one person or team is left standing. Excuse me. Winning bestows the kind of bragging rights that used to be reserved for the local Little League baseball champ. Sure. Just like eager dugout dads opening their wallets for pitching lessons, video game parents are more than willing to pay for their offspring to gain an edge.
You want to give them an edge? Wait, time out.
The world we live in.
Get rid of their fucking console. Put them on a computer. They'll be much better.
Put them on a computer or buy them an old school NES or Sega Genesis so they can learn the hand-eye stuff that's the foundation of the whole fucking thing.
When it comes to a shooter, and this is cross-platform, so computer players are going to have a massive advantage just because aiming with a mouse is so much easier than a stick.
Well, that and like the old school games didn't have a whole lot of room for error. And so you had to learn some real precision with some of those side scrollers and platformers and things that a lot of games these days just sort of they smooth out the rough edges and make games way too fair. Back when games were like early and broken in a way, but you had to master those brokenness in order to win. That's like what I think has been lost.
Well, $10,000, I will help your child get better at Fortnite.
Well, these parents are getting smart, man, because there's been a lot of parents that I've seen, especially when you look like, because there's a couple scenarios that I know of, like parents who allowed their kids to have like a gaming channel, and now their kid is bringing in more money than they are working a full-time job, and they're like, "Fuck."
Well, not on not on YouTube, maybe Twitch. Yeah,
and it's people are realizing that this is a legitimate opportunity for people to to really do something that they enjoy and make money, just like an artist or person who wants to play music or an instrument or something like that. It's becoming a legitimate form of income,
Yeah.
So for very few people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's worth a shot. They're young and they're not doing shit else anyway. So fuck it. Let them play games and we'll see what happens.
The batting coach for your kid's Pee-wee league. It doesn't make sense.
Well, guys, thank you so much for the stories. You guys are always exceedingly helpful in filling out the show, because God knows there's things we find out about the world that we wouldn't otherwise if you weren't all of our little cub reporters running out and finding things for us. Moving on to YouTube time. I did not do anything today, even though I meant to, but I got bogged down because I forgot this morning that today was the end of the month, and that meant a whole bunch of billing stuff that I had sort of spaced on getting done earlier, so my entire day was filled with paperwork and numbers and shit, so that was fun. So yeah. Satsu?
I didn't other than upload the videos on the second channel. I didn't do anything because I actually left the house today, and yeah. I got my friend kind of into he's about to transition over to PC gaming also. And he came and picked me up, and we went to Best Buy, and he got himself like a $1,200 computer.
Jesus.
So we're gonna be doing some PC gaming pretty soon. First game he got was Final Fantasy 14, and he got the little free 30-day trial or whatever that it started off with. So he's pumped for that, and I'm pumped for that. Other than that, I do have some topics and stuff that I want to talk about. I've been trying to take it a little easier because of what's been going on with me. So
thank you, Crazy Opinion, Nick's opinion. Need to make a correction here. I was making a commentary on black neighborhoods in Louisiana where I live, because the Lord of Pennies said it all. It's like that out here. Okay, gotcha. I've been in New Orleans a couple of times to visit friends, and if it weren't for the weather, which was as hot and humid beyond the pale, I really liked it down there. I really liked. As a tourist, obviously, I don't know what it would have been like to live down there per se, but it was a really neat place. Lots of character, let's just say. Monkey, have you been working on anything? You guys got any streams or anything you're going after or nothing?
No. And for this Sunday, I don't know if I have a movie yet. We'll still have to see on that. Okay. We have stream tomorrow. Will be our open stream on 7 Days to Die, but we're off tonight.
Just a programming note: not this coming weekend, but next weekend, the 11th, I will be absent from the Saturday night show for sure. Maybe the Friday night show. I'm not quite sure yet. I got family stuff I got to deal with, so we're figuring that out. I will let people know as I know for sure, but definitely I'll be out the weekend, next weekend. Okay, so onward to internet fucketry. I just like to mention first that a new Venom trailer dropped today. It did not do anything to change my lack of confidence in the film, its place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, such as it is, or you know why? You know what the big thing was, Monkey? I know you'll appreciate this more than most. You remember what the at least biggest flaw, let's say artistically, with the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie?
Oh, you'd have to be much more specific.
Absence of the skull.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is there no spider?
There's no spider. He's just a big oil spill of an alien, and that's it. I don't know if that somehow manifests itself somewhere later in the film, or if it's something they're going to add that's not in the trailer, but that they'll add in by the time the movie comes out or something. How they would explain that, given the backstory they're giving Venom in this iteration, I don't know. Either way, yeah, it didn't do anything to make me go, oh boy, I really want to see that movie. It's going to be great. No.
Yeah.
That made me sad, because Tom Hardy is a great actor, and he would have made a great Eddie Brock over in the MCU. Can you imagine Tom Hardy versus Tom Holland over on the MCU doing it like Marvel would have done Venom? That would have been great, but no. Oh, sorry, fuck my life, Los Angeles. Sorry. Well, Monkey said Louisiana originally, so I thought I was, looking at the state nickname or the abbreviation. So it's all Monkey's fault. I apologize. Los Angeles, not Louisiana, Los Angeles. Okay. Any other internet fucketry going on, guys?
Yeah, I want to bring up something. There's a story I want to talk about, but first I have to address this. The original Shroom, who got quite upset last night when we were talking about the gun thing, not GUNN gun, sent me a tweet telling me that Tim Pool agrees with him about selling out your fucking beliefs so that you can become a shitbag like the people you don't like. Telling me somebody else is wrong doesn't help your case.
I saw that post, and I was just like, I mean, here's the thing. There are things that happen in this world, or things that people do, or, like, I guess, actions that people will take to get to a certain type of result. For example, if you found out somebody did some shit to your kids or whatever, and you found that dude and you killed him, that person will never hurt anybody anymore. And you can be like, see, that was the right thing to do. And I would still be like, okay, that person is gone. They will never hurt a kid anymore. But that dude still needs to go to jail because he still fucking broke the law and murdered someone. Like, well, I mean, it is what it is. So it's like, basically they were saying, like, does the means justify the ends? And I'm like, I still won't justify the action just because your desired result came to light. He still fucking murdered somebody to get it done. So yes, your desired result ended up happening, and that's fine. You can be happy about that, but that dude's still a murderer and he still needs to go to jail. So
real quick, thank you, Gregory Hurst. Hardy sounds like Rain Man in the trailers. Yeah, he affects a certain accent in the trailers. I've heard real people talk like that before. And if you want to see Tom Hardy like just disappear into a character, either watch Bronson or he wasn't in the movie all that much, but The Revenant. You want to see just like Mr. Chameleon. I love Tom Hardy as an actor. Some of the roles he takes, but anyway, go ahead. All right, guys.
Using your example there, though, Satsu, here would be a much more apt example. If somebody punches your child, you don't go and punch their child so they know what it feels like.
Right.
And that's what you're talking about doing here. Like, well, now they're going to stop punching kids because they know what it feels like when their kid gets hit. No, that's fucking retarded, and that's not how the world works. Here's the thing. If you think that all of this stuff is you're teaching the left a lesson, has James Gunn come out and said, you know what, I was wrong. Comedy should be fine. It should be free speech. Has he done that? Nope. What he came out and says, you guys are right. I was wrong this whole time. What I did back then was horrible. That's what he did.
Not
he
only
didn't
that,
come out in favor of free speech. The fuck do you guys? What fucking news are you guys watching?
Right. Not only that, like, even if the kid did, like, even if they did, for some reason, they were just like, oh, wow, now I know how it feels. I guess I won't do that anymore. That still doesn't make you right.
You still punched a kid.
And like, you still fucking, you like,
oh god,
that still happened. Like, we can't just ignore the fact that happened. Now you're both pieces of shit who canceled each other out, basically.
Yes.
So
you destroyed the high road. There isn't one anymore. You're just both in the shit pile. Good job.
Yeah, you just canceled out his fuckery with your fuckery.
I didn't get a chance to watch Pool's video, so I don't know if he's being accurately represented here or not.
Right.
But telling me so-and-so agrees with me, not an argument. It's not an argument. If you want to take their point and reiterate that to me, okay, that might be an argument. But saying so-and-so agrees with me, that's not a fucking argument.
Q said, "I'm late. Who punched a kid?"
No,
it was
probably that gun dude.
Mr. Hypothetical did, because
Yes,
it was
it's
hypothetical example.
Fucking. You know what? I might stay up tonight and make a fucking video because I'm so fucking annoyed with that. Okay, the other one I have, Christina Hoff Sommers tweeted this out earlier. This comes to us from The Nation. And this is the story, guys. Editor's note. On July 24th, 2018, The Nation and its poetry editors, Stephanie Burt and Carmen Jimenez Smith, made this statement about the poem below, which contains disparaging and ableist language that has given offense and caused harm to members of several communities. A poem caused harm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As poetry editors, we hold ourselves responsible for the ways in which the work we select is received. We made a serious mistake by choosing to publish the poem How To. We are sorry for the pain we have caused to the many communities affected by this poem. We recognize that we must now earn back your trust. Some of our readers have asked, what were we thinking? When we read the poem, we took it as profane, over-the-top attack on the ways in which members of many groups are asked or required to perform the work of marginalization. Jesus fuck. We can no longer read the poem that way. We are currently revising our process, blah, blah, blah. Now, you guys ready for this horrible poem?
Y'all ready for this? Oh, sorry.
If you got HIV, say AIDS. If you're a girl, say you're pregnant. Nobody gonna lower themselves to listen for the kick.
What?
People passing fast, splay your legs, cock a knee funny. It's the littlest shames that are likely to comprehend. Don't say homeless. They know you is. What they don't know is what opens a wallet, what stops them from counting what they drop. If you're young, say younger. Old, say older. If you're crippled, don't flaunt it. Fuck you. I'll do what I want. Anyway, sorry. Let them think they're good enough Christians to notice. Don't say you pray, say you sin. It's about who they believe they is. You hardly even there.
This sounds like bad beat poetry in a basement
Doesn't
bar
it?
somewhere. You know, like some guy with a beret smoking a cigarette, just kind of mumbling into a microphone for 5 minutes, and then people snapping their fingers. This is harmful to somebody?
Remember, it was ableist.
Okay, did they? Maybe I missed it in the course of things. Who complained? Who cited this as having caused harm?
Their readers. That's all they say.
They don't say how many or like what kind of comments they got. Just like, okay.
No.
Are there any medical reports to?
No, so far the casualty list is still out.
Jack Gunsky says, "Was this for a master's degree at Yale?"
So yeah, that's the fucking poem they came out. Not only did they apologize for it, but they are completely overhauling their editorial process for picking poems based on that piece. Now, if they said this poem sucks, so we're not going to do that anymore, I would be with them. But because it's ableist, because the line, if you're crippled, don't flaunt it.
Was this poem titled James Gunn by any chance?
Sadly, no. It was titled How To.
Yeah, so one thing is written, some unknown number, and I'm assuming it's probably less than the fingers on my one hand. And I have all 5 fingers, guys, plus 1 because I'm out to kill Inigo Montoya. Said something, I'm offended by this. And so they're going to revise the entire landscape to try to sanitize stuff so nothing this horrible ever gets. I mean, if they were going to say, we're going to revise our editorial standards so that the poetry put out there actually sounds like something someone would say in real life. No, because poetry can be a whole bunch of different things. But either way, it's like, how thin-skinned is this? What was the publication? What place was this?
This is The Nation.
The Nation magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how often they put out poetry, so I don't know how big a deal this really is for them. But anyway, how stupid.
We live in a world full of weak ass bitches.
Matt, we will get to your birthday here in just a second. Let's finish this with this nonsense, and we will definitely get that. I'm making a note because I forgot the other day. There we go. When somebody gave us a birthday thing. Excuse me. I don't really see the problem with this poem. I think poetry is lazy to begin with, and people are gonna be mad. I would say poetry is for people who can't write prose. Because you can get away with so much shit in poetry. You just, I skip 5 words and people will think I'm artistic. No, I look at that as, wow, you're a lazy fucking writer. And I know that puts me on, that means I'll never get laid by some beatnik chick who's never shaved her twat. But I don't like poetry, and this is crap poetry. I like limericks. To me, that's the only good poetry.
There once was a man from Nantucket
whose dick was so long he could suck it. He said with a grin as he wiped off his chin, if my ear were a cunt, I would fuck it. The problem here is that they apologize to this over that line.
Yeah.
If you're crippled, don't flaunt it. And they're changing their whole editorial process over that. Really? Does that seem a little overkill?
It seems playing it safe. I mean, like, okay, let's take a step back in this and just like put aside rationale for a moment and just be pragmatic. Given the state of things, is it not the safer and cheaper course to just put out a statement like that to try to quell the flames, even if they don't really follow up on it, or they just sort of gradually phase out the whole poetry thing just to avoid it in the future for the time being? Can we blame them?
I can because I don't think that there's actual flames. Like, I think there's somebody standing somewhere in a really dark room with a lighter. Like, oh God, you don't want this to get any bigger than this. It's gonna get crazy in here. And they just like, oh God, are you serious? And they're like, we need to do something about that. But it's really, I don't think there's a flame. Like, I think there's just some dude blowing smoke out of a machine. Like, oh boy, look what you done started. But I really don't. It's really a flame.
They twice reference in that apology of theirs harm.
Yeah.
Fucking harm.
Yep. Feelings, hurt feelings. And I'm still really curious to know the metrics on exactly how many complaints they got and exactly what the complaints were. I'm not agreeing with it by any means. I think if they had never said anything in response to the complaints and just let it go and just said, it's poetry, it's abstract, it's free speech, whatever, go to hell. Sort of like, I always go back to that, what was that, Protein World incident a couple of years ago? Was that the name of the company? Where they put up an ad or something with like a bikini girl or whatever. I think it was the Beachbody Ready guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody was like, oh my God, this is so offensive to women and unrealistic body standards. And they're just, I think like one of the guys on their social media just said, calm down, Margaret. That was basically it. And they just said, fuck it. And sales of their product went up through the roof, and everybody thought that everybody who was complaining about it was a dummy. And I wish more companies and entities would look at something that is objectively dumb to complain about and just ignore it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not even address it, not even say the people complaining about this are stupid or anything. Hell, even print their complaints, but leave no editorial comment about it. Just say, this is the response from our viewers, full stop, and move on. Give everybody a little bit of a platform, a showcase, sure. Otherwise, who gives a shit? Let it go. You don't have to change the world because 5 people decided to make the wheels, creaky. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Alice Morgan. What do you want to bet this poem has a higher body count than the Mexican airplane crash? Wow. Speaking of, look that up. And thank you, Crazy Opinion. Well, some good news. The company I was working for is helping people get work. With company, I assume with this company, they work with. Okay, with company they work with, so I start a job this Friday, same pay as I was getting paid. Good.
Oh,
good.
Nice.
Congrats, dude.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
You were the one who said that you had a good relationship with your boss, right?
Right. I think so, yeah.
See, guys, it pays not to burn bridges.
You know what?
Now, sometimes you can burn a bridge, but it pays not to burn them.
I'm really curious to see if there are any statistics on any companies that folded to public outrage or what they perceive to be public outrage, who is significantly better off than they were before, like not stagnant and just like, oh wow, nothing bad happened and everything is business as usual, but like whose profits just like shot up because they're like, we folded to the masses, we gave them what they wanted, in comes the large masses of money. Like, I'm curious if that has ever happened to anybody.
Well, there have been instances where companies have gotten themselves involved in controversies and they caved and nothing bad happened. I can think of like Instagram when they had those face filters that put like Bob Marley on people, and that was a really big deal for like 10 days, and then they took those off and caved to the pressure. And Instagram hasn't exactly gone to the toilet. Apple on their health app or whatever, their fitness app or whatever, their initial launch lacked a widget that allowed women to track their menstrual cycles, and they got a bunch of flack for that. And then in the later version, they released it. But of course, Apple's not losing any stock value. So if you're already a juggernaut, you can probably cave and not take too much of a hit. I don't know about smaller companies or much more niche companies, but
Yeah,
well, I'm just
like,
like,
was actually growing because of
exactly
right.
because,
Yeah.
because
Sure.
we've seen plenty of places now who said fuck you, get over it, who like just like now motherfuckers are like, I like those guys, I'm gonna buy their shit just
Chick-fil-A.
because.
Look what happened with Chick-fil-A.
Sure.
And that was over one dude's opinion.
Yeah.
Everybody freaked out, and Chick-fil-A was like, fuck you, it's our opinion.
All right. Birthday time.
Yes, sorry about that. Matt. Are you still here, Matt? Yeah, there he is. Matt Melton, it's his 43rd birthday today. He's as old as me now.
Oh my God.
So Matt, are you out there? Are you listening? This one's for you, bud. And a 1 and a 2.
Happy birthday
to you.
I'm hungry.
Happy birthday to
you.
I made some chicken and I didn't get a chance to eat it.
Happy birthday,
Matthew.
Oh, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
I think somebody broke Scribe.
Happy birthday, Matt. I hope you had a good one.
Scribe's like a fucking record. Somebody just bumped it.
Matt says I blame my parents for this. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
you
did
should.
it. Guys. Okay.
He's still going, by the way.
No, I stopped. I want to see how long I could hold that sound, like how my lung capacity. I don't know.
You know what's fucked up? It didn't sound like you stopped. I was still hearing it for some reason.
I just kind of like implanted it in your brain.
Yeah,
Well, in the absence of a deep topic, I thought I would go to some exciting advice columns.
oh shit, son.
Thank you, Gregory Hurst. Good Eddie Brock impression. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Okay. I'm not saying it's the best accent. It is an accent I've heard from people from New York or that part of the world, from the Bronx and stuff. So it's not, it's location specific, and Tom Hardy's a good impressionist. So what can I say otherwise? Carrick says, the worst thing, Scribe, you can actually sing pretty decently when you actually tried. You're saying I wasn't actually trying there? That I didn't put some effort into sounding like that? Because, making a voice unlike my own actually takes more effort than just sticking to the normal, Just saying. I worked on that, guys. Jeez. All right.
Sounds like a bullshit to me.
You guys ready for some stunning advice requests?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So, guys, here we go. Advice from Lords of the Night. Dear Lords of the Night, I am a single 34-year-old woman who about 6 months ago moved to a completely new area for a job, which I love, but that means I don't really know anyone outside of work and have no close friends nearby. I've had a couple of serious relationships and a few less serious ones. I'm happy currently being single. I ended all of my past relationships and I don't mind being on my own. What I do mind is not having sex. At my age, how do I solicit casual sex? In my youth, I obviously had one-night stands with guys I met in bars, obviously. And while this isn't completely impossible now, I lack a reliable wing woman. I know the internet often has the solution for these problems, but I just couldn't bring myself to outright ask a Tinder match for sex. Also, I found as I get older, I become more and more introverted and have a harder time talking, and so flirting, with new people. Help! I missed the D! Self-care can only get one so far. Yours, single and sexless.
Try.
Does she know what year it is?
It's the current year.
Yeah, motherfuckers are scared of vagina. You gonna have to do something. I don't know, man, because everything pretty much anybody could do now is sexual harassment. So
Jedi Ghost Bear just said, "Why not? That's what Tinder is for." No shit, that's what it's for. Nobody does Tinder have any like marriage stories?
I would not be surprised if there were. Thank you, Flair Fritz. We also have a Minion's birthday for Deco Decode. Deco Decode.
Hang on, let me sit back. Give me just a second here.
Sure. Monkey needs to prepare himself.
y'all is disrespectful as hell with these birthdays, man.
Okay.
Horrible pain in my shoulder.
Okay. Well, wait. I'll start another one. We'll get to the birthday here in a little bit. Sorry, guys. Dear Lords of the Night, on New Year's Eve, I got drunk and came out to my mom. Well, thankfully you didn't come on your mom. It was a mess. Oh, thank God it was a different kind of mess. I didn't know how to tell her that I'm bi and that right now I honestly would prefer to be in a relationship with a woman. I ended up crying and saying that I'm kind of gay. She was not thrilled and said that I'm in a phase, then listed some of my female friends and asked if it was because of them. Then she told me she didn't want to talk about it and I didn't want to cause a scene, so I didn't. She didn't tell my dad. She visited me a few months ago and saw that I had a book about coming out. She told me that she'd prefer if I threw it out in case my dad ever found it. I told her no and not to worry about it. Recently, when visiting her, I was talking about getting a female friend a gift for her birthday, and she said, "What, is she your girlfriend now?" I haven't told my...
Oh my God, phone, really?
Fuck? Ow!
God damn, really? All these fucking people calling me now, really?
Owie. Okay, that really hurt. I haven't told my dad because I'm scared of his reaction and of him. A few days ago, though, he was telling me about how upset he got from reading a story about a young gay man who killed himself because his family disowned him after he came out. For reference, my parents are liberal Democrats, but expect their kids to be normal, I guess. Well, our family has a weird dynamic. My brother and I were physically abused as kids, and I was abused into adulthood until I moved out last year. By your parents? I don't know. Weirdly, we're all still pretty close, probably because my parents still scare and control my brother and me. Family is important to all of us, and as fucked up as our relationship is, I don't want to be disowned. Whenever I think about it, I want to throw up. I want my family to accept me, but after my mom's reaction, I don't want to revisit the topic. I think even I guess my question is, can I just stay in the closet until my parents die?
Yeah, you can.
Sure, you can.
You can also not discuss it with your parents.
Yeah, just don't bring it up.
Oh God, hang on.
Why is it important that they have to know all the details of your love life? Just don't discuss. It's sort of like discussing politics and sex at the dinner table. You do those things you just don't bring up. Just forget it. Who cares?
Can you guys hear me okay from here?
Vaguely.
Shit.
I mean, I can hear you. It's just quiet. Dude, do you want to just take off for the night?
No, man.
I'm about to send you.
Thing about wanting to be accepted by your parents. Here's the thing: they're your parents, and they're gonna. As a parent, if one of my children came to me and went, "Dad, I'm gay," my reaction would be like, "Okay." I honestly don't give a fuck. And from what she said here, this sounds more like mom controlling than anything dad would care about. I remember when my daughter got pregnant, they were afraid to tell me because I'm very protective of my daughter. And if they'd told me this when like she was 16, if they'd come to me, she's pregnant, I'd been like, what the fuck? But she was an adult when this happened.
Right.
So I was happy. It's like, that's cool. But everybody expects dad to freak the fuck out. You're a grown ass woman. You have family issues. So if you want to bring it up to your dad, just tell him, call him one night, tell him you're gay, hang up the phone, and you're fine. He won't beat you. I would seriously suggest therapy though for your whole fucking family because you sound weird.
Yeah, that sounds messed up.
Yeah, the longer you wait to bring this shit up, regardless of what the scenario is or how the reaction is, no matter what, the longer you wait, the worse it's gonna be. Because the earlier you get that shit out, the sooner people, and even if they don't get used to it, the bottom line is they're your parents. If they give a fuck about you even remotely, eventually they'll start talking to you again. But you got to do that shit early, because if you wait too late, then
I remember when I came out to my parents that I was president of the bondage club. It was about like 3 weeks after it happened. And I was visiting home, and I was sitting down with dinner with them and at a restaurant or something. And I was like, yeah, so I'm now the president of a college club. And they're like, oh, what kind of club? And I said, oh, bondage. And my dad starts laughing. And my mom looked kind of like, what? And I explained it to my mom. She's like, oh, okay. Are you being safe? I'm like, yes, mother. Okay. And that was it.
Well, from the sounds of it, Dad's not going to have much of a problem with it. No. Chances are your dad doesn't think that much about your sex life. He really doesn't. He doesn't. Yeah,
probably not, unless he's really weird. And anyway.
And if they are the liberal Democrats that they say they are, I don't believe that about your mom. I'm sorry, I just don't. No. Not with the reactions she's had. Let's do this birthday. What was it?
Decode.
Decode, are you here?
Don't know.
If you're not, this one's for you in absentia. That's the word, right?
Absentia.
Absentia
would be like if you're abstaining from something, but absentia is when you're gone.
Well, he's abstaining from watching.
Okay, that's legit.
Okay. Anyhow.
Hey, we're all about expanding our vocabularies here. Metric.
Decode. And yeah, they're words that I screw up all the time, and I'm okay with that. Decode. I hope you're listening. If you're not, I hope you catch this on replay, because we're going to make this one pretty for you, baby.
Oh, okay.
And a 1 and a 2.
Happy birthday to you.
Like how they just lied to you like that.
Happy birthday to you.
Lied right to your face. No remorse either. Just
happy birthday, dear Triple D.
Double D.
Well, there's a D at the end. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday. I hope you had a great one. I really do. And I love you, minions, guys. Mwah. Much love.
Let's do one more advice before we move on to chat time. This should be a fun one. Dear Lords of the Night, I am a woman of color who is married to a white dude. Most of our married life, we live with his mom. At first, it was because we were both students and he has 2 kids from a previous marriage, and it was nice to have a big house to live in. Now, she lives with us because he wants to take care of his mom in her old age. I'm grateful for all the help we had received and the fact that the kids have a grandparent around who loves them. Lately, I'm finding living with her a real burden, not because of her age, but because of her ideas. I didn't used to say anything, but now I let my mouth run. The other day, we had an argument because people in a small Canadian city were protesting all the refugees who are illegally entering Canada from the U.S. I looked it up later, and they weren't protesting at all. They were wondering about the tents pitched up by the federal government and wanted to know what they could do to help. But during the argument, I called the city racist if they were protesting the mostly Haitian refugees. She started to defend the city and say they were not racist for not wanting people to clutter up the area. Apparently, during the argument, I called her a racist. I don't remember calling her that, but she is a racist from every other conversation I've had with her. 2 days later, she asked me to never, 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 ever call her a racist. I can call her intolerant or a bigot, but never a racist. I told her she needs to find out what racism is. She said she knows what racism is because she's lived longer than I have. I, of course, said that I know better what racism is because I experience it every day and that being labeled racist is not worse than being affected by racism. Back and forth and back and forth. She doesn't want to be called racist in her own home, and couldn't I just respect that? If she were really racist, how could she live with me all these years? We're thinking of moving to a different town, and she will be moving with us. I want to have a peaceful house, but I want to be able to call a spade a spade. Sorry. I'm not sure if she understands that phraseology. My MIL, I don't know what a mother-in-law, sorry. My mother-in-law is completely unaware of her white privilege. She doesn't realize that she actually holds power to affect the lives of people of color by voting for a bigot, even just for economic reasons. I have half-white children, Muslim children, who will be experiencing overt racism soon. I need to teach them about what they will face, and they will eventually realize that their grandmother is racist. This isn't a Thanksgiving dinner where I can argue with her and leave. This is in my home. How do I keep peace in my home and call out racism as soon as I see it? Pissed off in Canada. P.S. You might want to know where my husband is in all this. He works in that little town he works in that little town where we are planning to move and is often away from home. He works really, really long hours and is way too tired to deal with home problems. Besides, I want to fight my own battles because I've stayed quiet too long.
Okay.
Wow, this is amazing.
From what you told us, the argument that you got into with your mother-in-law, there was nothing racist about it. You're the one who made it racist. Yeah. Because of where the refugees may have come from. She was just saying they don't want a flood of new people in there, and that's not anytime you're introducing a whole bunch of new people to a small town, you're going to have problems if they don't have the same values. That's the important part. How many times do we have to say this shit? But it is amusing to me. I like how she said "in my own home" when she's told us she's living with her mom or his mom.
Yeah,
that ain't your own home, bitch. Here's what you do: you grow up. You get out on your own. You pay for your own goddamn kids and your own goddamn house and your own goddamn husband, who's apparently making good money doing all this shit. Go out on your own. You want mom-in-law to come, so don't lie. You want a babysitter. Don't fucking lie to me. I know who you are. You want her there for when you want her to do stuff for you, but how dare she have a different fucking opinion? Get your own house. You can have your own fucking opinion in your own house. How about that? That's fuck off, you spoiled bitch. Oh, sorry.
Satsu, your thoughts?
Ditto.
Wow. Yes. I think monkey speaks for many people.
I'm tired of this shit. I've seen this so many times with people in my children's age, because it's not necessarily their fault. It's the economics of the time and stuff. But so many people, my father, I don't like the way he thinks when I'm living in his house. Get the fuck out. You know what? I brought this up so many times. When I was young, they used to tell us stories about people with hardships, and they would go out and they would work 3 jobs to take care of their family and make sure they had a place. Now it's like, man, I need $15 to work at McDonald's because I got to live in my pops' house. Fuck you. Get your ass out there on your own.
Yeah, I've had this conversation countless times with a lot of the younger people I know, and they're just like complaining to me about the rules that they have to abide by in the place that they're living at for free. And I'm just like, dude, you get free food, you live for free, you're old enough to get a job, but you don't have one. Nobody expects anything of you, and you don't do anything to contribute at all. Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares what you have to say. Like, not to be rude. I know you got concerns, but nobody cares about them.
I really found it entertaining that she said, can I call a spade? When spade, for those of you that don't know,
is a racial slur.
Yeah, it was at one time a relatively common racial slur. It's one of those things that, strangely enough, doesn't really come up when people use that phrase, and thankfully so, because it doesn't mean the same thing now as it did back then. I just found it funny that she used that phrase when talking about who's racist in the household or whatever. I just thought, it's like, okay, anyway.
Well,
moving on.
Here's the thing. I mean, you're allowed to have your own opinions. You are. But the only thing your mother-in-law asked of you here is don't call me racist. She said you can call her any other fucking thing you want to. What was it?
Bigot or intolerant, I think.
Intolerant, yeah. So you can still get the same. You can still tell her you disagree with it. She just wants you to respect that word.
Yeah. Also, you don't know what a racist is. Yes, I do, because I experience it every day. That doesn't. No, bigot and racist are two different things, by the way. And I bring this up all the time, and I want to nail it home one more time, just because I feel like it. They are two different concepts. A bigot is someone who finds someone intolerant because of their opinions. Like, doesn't matter what they look like, where they come from, whatever else. I disagree with you, therefore you are the enemy. That is what a bigot is. So when you hear somebody that says people are terrible because they think this way, that person is a bigot, or at least saying something bigoted. Now, you can find nuances in, like, there's a guy over there who thinks that that barbecuing babies is a good idea. I don't agree with that opinion. Therefore, I'm a bigot. Well, technically, yes. But, anyway, a racist is you either elevate and or denigrate people on the basis of their skin color and or ethnic heritage or whatever. That is what a racist is. These two things can be mutually exclusive.
Yeah, and I do realize the best thing that happened to me as an adult was my dad telling me to get the fuck out. We were a young family. My wife was home all the time, so it's not like we used them for babysitting or anything, but we were in their house, and eventually my dad pulled me aside and goes, you need to go get your own place. And I'm comfortably lazy. I'm like, no. And my wife was on it, boy. She's like, yes, we're doing this shit. And we got our own house. And let me tell you guys something. For all of you who are living in your parents' house, it's amazing how the world changes when you pay for everything.
Yep.
It is fucking amazing.
Similar thing happened with my sister. After she got out of college, I let her live with me. The original plan was like maybe 6 months or something, so she could get a job. And I wasn't going to charge her any rent or anything. I was just going to let her, build up a little nest egg before she could move out. 6 months turned into about a year and a half. And at a certain point, I just said, you've got a month. And, you would have thought that, just putting the deadline on it, it was amazing. Within a week of suddenly having like a chasm before her, she took the initiative, got a better job, got her own apartment, was out. It was amazing. It was just a little nudge. It didn't take much, and that was all it took.
My in-laws have stayed with us twice, and both times I've had to kick them the fuck out. And it was amazing how quick they found a house when I told them they couldn't stay in mine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because and that was something I had to explain to my little brother recently, because he'd been trying to get his shit together or whatever. And I'm like, it's kind of not your fault, that you're in the position that you are, because the people who keep telling you that they're not going to help you and that you need to get out and do your own thing, every single time you get in trouble, every single time you fuck up or something, they catch you every single time and they bail you out. But they constantly complain about you not doing this and not doing that and not having any responsibility. So I'm like, it's kind of not fully your fault, but you need to get the fuck out of your mom's house.
You can't enable, and you have to avoid as much as possible the concept of moral hazard, and that is that if you mess up and you save somebody, you give them a parachute, they have no incentive to learn from their mistakes and not mess up again. But anyway, all that aside, we're at the bottom of the hour, guys, so now it's chat time. If you have questions, comments, complaints, conspiracy theories, if you're thinking about coming out as a video game failure to your parents so they can find you a tutor, put your questions or comments in the chat now. If you have questions for us directly, put plenty of question marks after it so we know it's for us. Check Your Logic says, Ranting Monkey, Scribe Light, Satsu's here too. I finally filmed a video. Well, congratulations.
Real quick, Cynic said, I live with my mom and aunt, and I pay the same as them for utilities and food. There are situations where living at home makes sense. I'm not saying never live at home, but this is a family. husband, wife, apparently a whole fucking brood of children. Get the fuck out. Be your own person. And especially if you're what you're bitching about is that your mother-in-law had a different fucking opinion than you.
Stacey Gardner says, "Did you hear about what the twit Anne Hathaway said about white people when it comes to the Nia Wilson ordeal?" I've seen the stories. I haven't read anything in depth. You know, when it comes to celebrities making comments about things that aren't involved in it, I just kind of like, I kind of space out. I don't really care.
What's the Nia Wilson ordeal?
I believe this is the girl that was stabbed to death on a bus in, God, was it L.A. or New York? I forget now all of a sudden. But there was like a couple of attacks. Some white guy went nuts and stabbed a bunch of people on a bus or a train or something, or on one of those like light rail deals. And of the people that he stabbed, one girl died, and I believe all the people who were stabbed were black. And they still don't know what his motivation was. I believe he was arrested. I don't think he got killed. This is me not knowing all that much about the story, guys. I apologize.
This was her response to that. All black people fear for their lives daily in America.
Oh, yes. This is Kyle says, Scribe Light, I'm a video game professional. I beat Dark Souls. I'll take your word for it. Let's see. Check Your Logic says, Satsu's here too, but his name doesn't show up when I type it.
That's because it's 2 cents plus.
That's right. That's right. He's using his other channel today. That's right. Let's see. Q asks, knowing what you know now, would you still get the same degree you have now? Knowing what I know now, I probably would have got a business administration degree, try to get an MBA, just because it's so versatile in what you can do with it and what doors it'll open. But, you know, ultimately, I haven't fared too badly, all things considered, because I made decisions that built up my resume beyond a simple English degree that helped leverage the opportunities I've had since then. And the first kind of jobs that I had were in sort of basic finance, and that changed things a little bit. So yes and no. I mean, I'm not unhappy where I ended up, so it's fine.
Can somebody send Anne Hathaway a picture of Pat and ask if he looks like he's fucking scared?
Let's see. And your boy Pat says he was arrested. Yeah, the guy did the stabbing. All right. Yeah, I'm glad he was caught alive. I don't like it when guys get the escape of death. Jim Gila says, my comic book Blue Mamba hit 50% funded today. We still need $4,000 to reach our funding goal. If you want a good, sexy spy comic, go support it on Kickstarter. Yes, guys. I think there's only about like a week or 8 days left on that Kickstarter. So if you want to support Jim Helis and independent comic book creators, go check that out. Let's see. Happer75 says, homeless bipolar man who had drug problems, but that doesn't matter because race. Well, you know, reasons mean very little to me and people that hurt other people in that way. But yeah, whatever.
Pat, I saw you sent me a video. I haven't checked it out yet. I apologize for that. No, James, that breaks my heart. Okay, look. Okay, we got to talk for a second. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
James says, reminder to self, remove Anne Hathaway from Spank Bank. No. Look, you can still beat off to dumb women. They're still pretty. Come on, you weren't beating off to her because you thought she was a genius. Let's be honest. Come on, you liked her titties, and titties don't make you smart. So you can still spank bank it. Just don't take your moral cues from her because she's an idiot.
Let's see. Well, let's test that, says Backscan, at 2 cents plus. Do you fear every day for your life?
Yes, but not for the reason presented.
No. Yeah, it's more like, I don't want to upset Squishy today. Let's see. We talked about that. RJ Bansma says, ever heard of Esoteric Entity? Back in the day, he threatened to share my personal info with Nambla. When he was known as Midnight Fan. I have no idea who you're talking about. Never heard of Esoteric Entity.
Me neither. Yeah, but NAMBLA is that horrific group that everybody thought South Park made up, but had been around actually for a few decades before they ever highlighted them. It's the National Man-Boy Love Association.
Right.
Yeah, fucking degenerates.
Your boy Pat says it's a video of a pro-black woman calling the godfather of Nia Wilson a coon for asking the black community to stand down.
Whoa.
Oh, okay. Jack Gunsky says Anne Hathaway isn't sexy. She's beautiful, but not sexy. It depends. I mean, I always thought she was sort of like classic Hollywood beautiful. She's a bit too stick figure-y for me personally, but I could see how people would be turned on by her. Sure.
Yeah, she's cute. She's no Alyssa Milano. So
you know, she was dating for a while. She was dating, and I believe she was engaged to a guy who turned out to be a crazy Ponzi scheme crook.
No.
In her youth, it was just after or around the time of the Princess Diaries or Devil Wears Prada. She was dating some Italian guy who turned out to be a complete fraudster. Snubber, thank you. Satsu, you ready to dodge meteors tonight?
Oh, dude, I completely forgot that's tonight. Fuck yeah, I'm ready.
What's going on tonight?
The Monster Hunter Final Fantasy crossover. They're bringing over a monster from Final Fantasy for you to fight in Monster Hunter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. The hate camel. He corrected. I had the initials wrong for Nambla, but fuck them. I don't care to get them right.
Let's see. What did I see? Teddy says, I'm a pepper. He's a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? I had my pepper jack earlier today, like when I got home from work, so I could cool down slightly after a very, very overheated day. Again, slightly less heated than the last few days, but still. Captain Bramble says Anne Hathaway. I'd hit that, I guess. Your boy Pat says, does Anne Hathaway forget we've seen Havoc? Yeah, Havoc, where Anne Hathaway gets like naked, and she I think that was the first time I ever really noticed Anne Hathaway. That's what I saw her.
That's fucked up.
Devil Fruit Zero says, I sent an MSS news story about a tweet from Cenk Uygur where he talked about Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson watching porn. I heard you didn't get to it, so what are your guys' thoughts? Cenk,
what did he say? Let me look that up. We'll get back to that question.
Jean-Pierre says, why does the History Channel classify the Mongol Empire as an ancient empire even though they're a medieval-based empire? Well, medieval times is getting more ancient by the day, so sure, why not? I don't know much about the Mongol Empire to say one way or the other, so. Let's see. Alice Morgan says, Scribe Light Hathaway dated him after Diaries and during and after Prada, returned all the jewelry he got her. Yeah. Folieri, I think his name was. Something like that, Folieri. And he was conning people into believing he was a representative of the Vatican trying to buy up churches in like New York and elsewhere for the use of the Vatican, except he had no association with the Vatican, and only like finagled a mild reference to somebody in his family who did work at the Vatican or something. But he got people to dump like hundreds of millions of dollars on him just on the notion that he was doing this. And one of the guys was like one of Bill Clinton's backers or something. It was crazy.
Okay, I have the tweet here.
Okay.
Shankson, I'm not done yet. At Tucker Carlson says that adult film stars are indecent. Really? How many adult films do you think Tucker has watched in his life? In the thousands at least. Is he claiming he has never watched any? Same with at Ben Shapiro, who writes an anti-porn book. Please. I don't think he's wrong there. I mean, but
he wasn't fantasizing about them watching porn. He was just trying to take a gamble at pointing out likely hypocrisy, I guess.
Yeah, and I have a problem with people who speak out about porn because I am not convinced anybody doesn't watch porn. I just don't believe it.
Stacy Gardner, who is your favorite female super heroine? I always like She-Hulk. I kind of like She-Hulk because she was, before Deadpool ever existed, her comic book broke the fourth wall all the time, and the people who wrote the initial run of the She-Hulk comic did a great job, and I always thought she was a really fun character in that series. And I've always thought she had one of the more interesting sort of backstories where She got a blood transfusion from her cousin Bruce Banner. It turned her into the She-Hulk, and she just sort of embraced it and said, "Yeah, I love this. I love being huge, green, strong." And she also was like sleeping around with everybody. Like she was always dating some other superhero or something. I think wasn't it Wyatt Wingfoot was one of the guys. Anyway, I'm getting into nerd lore there, but yeah, that's my answer. She-Hulk. You guys have one?
No.
Super heroine?
Mm-hmm. You know that stuff that gets people really high and they die?
I don't know. Yeah, that one's. I never really thought about it.
Okay. Monkey?
No answer from me.
You guys
I
are
can tell you my
sexist.
favorite female in the DC universe.
Sure.
Which is Harley Quinn, because
Okay.
she's fucking awesome.
Wow, they basically made her into a superhero now, which is so bizarre. But
Yeah, it's a little weird, but even in the game, I think the most recent game, she was like with the good guys. She was like working for Batman.
Yeah, she's on Batman's side. I never understood in the Suicide Squad movie. It's like, all right, there's only one person on that entire team that actually justifies the supposed purpose of that team. Like, what if another Superman comes down and we can't fight him, or Superman goes wrong? Yeah, what's Harley Quinn and her baseball bat going to do against Superman? Remind me again? What the fuck?
Literally nothing, unless you get
Nothing.
that bitch fucking bejeweled with or bedazzled with fucking kryptonite.
Yeah. Thank you, Sanguine. If you don't watch porn, you either have such an insane sex life you are always sated, so there's no reason to, or you're hypoliptic. Yeah, I suppose so. Or you're so self-suppressed that you're probably going insane.
Well, have you guys seen this? I mean, like, I know the Golden One pushes this, don't watch porn, and Andy Worski went on a trip where he was not going to watch porn and touch himself for a while.
Yeah.
Because apparently masturbation is bad, because we're going back to our puritanical roots.
Yeah, it keeps your Kegel muscles in shape.
Oh boy,
which is good for
rub one out, and don't care what other people fucking think about it.
Yeah, it'll help prevent incontinence later on down the line. Not necessarily eliminate it, but mitigate it somewhat. Let's see. Superheroine almost killed Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction, says Jack Gusky. Well, no, her snorting a rail of heroin is what almost killed her. I don't think of the quality of the heroin was necessarily an issue there. Let's see. Jim Healis is going insane. Okay. I assume that means he's having insane sex life. Good for you.
See, that don't even matter. Back in my younger days,
yes.
there were actually several times I had sex. I finished sex, and the young lady left. And 10 minutes later, I masturbated just because I could.
Yep. I've had some exceedingly quick recoveries in the past for good and ill. Just Angry says menopausal. Oh, and Jim Healis says nope, the opposite. Oh, I'm sorry, it was the suppressed. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, I can empathize. Jack Gunsky says, Scribe, don't you remember that heroine was the Madman? If you say so. Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, he was talking about that. I haven't seen that movie in so long. I own a copy, but it's one of those things where I think I've seen it so many times in the past, it doesn't really occur to me to watch it again. So I'm sure there's pieces that I've missed. Jacob Jet, porn shouldn't get too many original ideas. That's how scat porn came to be. Well, it's when people's tolerances build up, or you're just German, I suppose. Is Mining Freedom still here? Anyway. Jean-Pierre says, Andy isn't fapping because he made a bet with Brittany Vente not to fap until the UK has free speech. Oh, Jesus. I find Brittany Vente kind of attractive. Just on a physical, just a little bit.
Really?
Her attitude, I wouldn't be able to probably stand like in real life, but just like as a visual, yeah, she's kind of cute.
Looks like she has fetal alcohol syndrome.
Jesus.
She does. I'm not making it up. Look, her eyes are like 6 feet apart, and you could park a car between them. And Jean-Pierre, I get that's how it is, but as he was doing his thing, he went into the whole bullshit that it clears your mind. No, it doesn't. It makes you fucking stupid. Just beat it.
Well, maybe I'm just
That's how you end up setting your fucking nipples on fire.
maybe I'm just like distracted by her breasts. That could be it too.
Oh yeah, she's got great titties.
Yeah. Let's see. Prospero says, read the Marquis de Sade sometime. It might turn you off to some porn. Or
Yeah, exactly.
see Quills, the stage play. I saw Quills with the Broadway cast one time. And I was like, and this is just after I'd sort of started being president of the Bondage Club, and I was practically in heaven as my mother was sitting next to me as we watched. She had season tickets to this theater, and so Quills was playing. Like, oh, let's go to this, and she was sitting there in practical horror as I was sitting there going, like, yeah, I can empathize to some of this. Ebony Williams says, how do I convince my parents to pay back the money they owe me? Oh, well, first here's a tip, and no offense intended. Never loan money to friends or family. Always make it a gift. Money coming between people that you want to have a relationship with, always a bad idea. Never loan money. If you give money to a family member or a friend who you consider family and a friend, always make it a gift. Never expect to get it back. Otherwise, just sit down and be honest with them and say, granted that they made the agreement to pay you back, it'll be difficult, it won't be fun. Or if you think that asking for the money back is going to cause more of a rift than anything else, if you can, write it off and move on. I don't know the situation, but it depends on how, what's more important, I guess, in the long run, or what you think their reaction is going to be. That is a treacherous territory there. Let's see. Sorry, I missed that. Jaster Muriel says, when playing an open world game, what kind of play style, warrior, thief, techie, mage, etc., do y'all gravitate towards?
Depends on the open world. I mean, there's none of those things in 7 Days to Die. That's an open world.
Most of the open. Sorry.
If you mean an RPG, I tend towards thief or a ranger class.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the game. Most like open world games that I've played, like Skyrim and Fallout 4 or Fallout 3 and such, long range stealth always wins. It's pretty much the rule. After that gets boring, I might experiment. But as far as like a role playing thing, yeah, something a little gray area, something a little anti-hero kind of thing. Yeah.
Raz Dazzler's in response to Ebony says, sneak into their house and steal their furniture.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Let's see. Your boy Pat says, has anybody ever watched The Brown Bunny from beginning to end? I haven't. Do you mean... Wait, do you mean the Chloe Sevigny movie, Brown Bunny? Or are you talking about something else? Because there's a movie called Brown Bunny where Vincent Gallo, it's a Vincent Gallo movie with Chloe Sevigny, or however you say her name.
Yeah, you just said in chat, that's the one.
Okay, yeah, yes. She sucks Vincent Gallo's dick live. Like, I mean, it wasn't a porn, it was supposed to be like an art house movie. I've never sat through the whole thing, no. But Vincent Gallo movies are weird. He's a very... Yeah, like Buffalo 66 was a weird movie. What was that other one he did, the black and white thing? Tietro, I think it was. Shit, this is me showing my movie nerdery. Let's see. RJ Bansma says, just angry, then why are you staring at my pregnant belly? I don't know what that means, but anyway. Devil Fruit Sarah says, I got $1,000 from my brother. His wife wants it back, so I have to repay him. Did he say it was a gift? And even if he did, does the wife have veto power? Then probably. He also says, in the face Viking style Dragonborn, my style. I usually go for like a total like melee tank after I've gone through a game once as a sneaky guy. Just once I have an idea of like how the mechanics of the game work. See if I can get away with it. RJ says, what should I give Monkey for his birthday? A new spine would be good.
Spinal cord, actually.
Yeah, new spinal cord. There you go. I think you can pick one of those up at Best Buy over in the cord section.
I need to get a USB one.
Let's see. Ebony Williams says, that would be difficult seeing as how I still live at home. Oh. You live at home and your parents owe you money. Yeah, that's. I do not know how to navigate those waters. I would not know. Let's see. 5-minute warning, guys. Do you have any other questions? Anything else? You guys aren't streaming tonight, correct?
No, we're not.
Okay. Will you streaming tomorrow night?
Yep, tomorrow night's the open
tomorrow.
server. Open server 7 Days to Die stream.
Okay. And as far as like movies you should have watched, don't know, guys. If Monkey comes up with something that I either currently own or can get my hands on real quick, maybe, but it might be another couple of weeks depending because I know next week I won't be around.
Maybe you guys can do porn you should have watched.
Yeah. Yeah. On this episode, Behind the Green Door. John Pierre says, besides Star Trek movies, what is your favorite Patrick Stewart movie? Life Force. If you know what Life Force is, you know the only reason to watch that movie besides the space vampires is the totally hot, absolutely totally naked woman that walks around sucking the life out of people, and not in the good way, like in the bad special effect lightning way. But she's really hot, either way. You guys have any favorite Patrick Stewart vehicles?
No.
Nothing's coming to mind.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait. I know the Emoji Movie.
Yeah. Or how about Masterminds? If anybody here knows Masterminds with Patrick Stewart, you have my sympathies, but that is a movie that exists. Nothing for you here says Life Force. That movie was awesome. I own it on VHS. I think I have it on VHS somewhere around here too, maybe, but yeah.
Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh, that's right.
He played King Richard
that's
at the end.
right. Yeah, at the end. Okay, I guess that technically counts as a Patrick Stewart movie.
John Pierre asked me, did I have any pets that weren't a cat or dog? I have a bearded dragon.
Actually, if you want to see Patrick Stewart do something really cool, it's relatively recent. He did a version of Macbeth, I think for PBS or something recently. It was one of those sort of like they set it in kind of a communist setting. Well, they still kept all the dialogue the same. It was sort of like that Richard III movie with Ian McKellen, and they set it in kind of a World War II deal, which was great. If you haven't seen Richard III with Ian McKellen, oh man, it's awesome. But the Patrick Stewart Macbeth one was really good. Check your logic to Scribe. Like, who's someone you wish would come on the show? I hope you don't mean in the German. Yes. I've always wanted to have a guest of one of my subjects. Like, I would love it if I could get Dr. Chris Hoff on the show. The guy, the radical therapist. I haven't done a video on him in quite a while because he hasn't released a whole lot of YouTube videos over the last several months because, well, if he doesn't release a video, not much to say. But yeah, somebody who I've done like more than one video on that I just find interesting. Him, John Eckloff. Then that's old school Scribe Light channel stuff, if you know who that is. But yeah, that's the kind of person I'd like to have on. You guys have any wish lists?
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had Undoomed on here. We've had Bearing on here. Those are the two people
Blair
I
White.
look up to.
Blair White was on here. Blair White was on here one time.
Yeah, for me, the two people who got me into YouTube basically were Bearing and Undoomed. These are two guys I look up to very much, and so yeah, that's crossed off my wish list.
I'm still, I'm still kind of amazed, honestly, because I've had Mundane Matt on this channel. Now, everybody has different opinions about Mundane Matt, but I was an audience member of Mundane Matt's stuff when Gamergate was going on. It is so bizarre to me that not that long thereafter, in relative terms of my starting my YouTube channel, he's a guest on our show, my show, whatever, my channel. It's just like complete, like through the looking glass kind of thing. To have Undoomed on here or talk to him on all these people that I just sort of, like you say, it's sort of like a little bit starstruck. At the same time, it's like, hey, we're all kind of in the same universe and not that far away. One simple, hey, you want to come on the show? And sometimes that's all it takes. It's just like, hey, so.
Jean-Pierre said, how about Some Black Guy? I like Some Black Guy. I'd love to have him on sometime if he wanted to, but there's not like a list of people. I'm like, oh, I got to have them on. I have the 2 people I want to do the show with every night with me.
Scribe Light, Christina Hoff Summers. Says Checker Lodge. That's a high marquee individual, but I would not mind. I'm open to having just about anybody on, but the likelihood of somebody, well, I mean, I can't rule out anything. Yeah, she'd hang up. Yeah, probably.
I would say something entirely inappropriate, and she'd be, I can't be associated with this.
I don't know. She was on the same stage as Crowder and Milo, so stranger things have happened. Okay, thank you, KSE. If you guys have forgotten the most important guest you've had on, yours truly. Oh,
that's right, sweetie.
That's right.
How you
yes,
doing?
Chaos. Well, guys, that brings us to the top of the hour, and that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you, everyone, all of you, for joining us, as you always do every night. You guys are as much the show as we are, honestly, because you're part of it. As much as we show up every night, so do you all, guys. And without you guys here, there wouldn't really be a show. So thank you for your MSS News submissions. Thank you for your questions, your comments. Thank you to everyone who donated. I really do appreciate it. It will all go towards increasing my diabetes chance with Dr. Pepper and avoiding salmonella for the time being with the goldfish crackers, because apparently there's a threat of that. Tomorrow night, per usual, we'll be on Monkey's channel. Oh, sorry, no, I take it back. Wait, that's right. That was reflex. Tomorrow night, we'll be on Satsu's channel, since Monkey took over on Monday night for Satsu, who was sleeping. So, pardon me, correction. Tomorrow night, Satsu's channel, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So look for that there and follow us all on Twitter. The links are in the description below. All that being said, Satsu, Monkey, thank you for joining me as always.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, Chaos Eve, thank you again. Free money. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you're trying to bribe your way back on the show, it'll probably work. Everyone, your lives make us sad, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Okay, opening up. This is my thing now. I'm opening up the serial killer book. Find a random page. Find the word my hand falls on, and it is. No, that word sucks. That's the CNN would hate that. Oh, okay. Today's secret word is teletype.